Yo, what's going on, TeamPokeColors family? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, press a like and subscribe down below. Today, we're going to be talking about something that I've noticed over the course of the entirety of the Scarlet Violet era, and what I personally believe that you, if you want to invest in Pokemon cards right now, should be looking out for on the market, specifically talking about illustration rares. So if that piques your interest and you want to continue watching this video, it would be greatly appreciated. Be sure also to check out the links down in the description below, get some discount code. Check the link down below. Guys, let's hop right into today's video. Alright, so to start off today's video, I do want to state that we're not specifically looking at any of the big dog chaser hits from any of the Scarlet Violet era sets, but I was looking and I noticed that we're pretty much on the final stretch, on the final home stretch of the Scarlet Violet era. Like, we're pretty much looking at like one more year and then the rest of this year, probably before the next era comes out or is announced. They typically do around 3 to 4 years per era. And, you know, at this point, like, Scarlet Violet came out, what, early 21, I think? Or was it even early 22? I don't even know. It's been so long, I haven't looked. But anyways, we're kind of on the tail end of the era, given the amount of sets that we've gotten so far. And I was thinking, you know what, there's got to be something out there that I can invest in now that I personally believe in, that also would be good long term. And I do personally, in my personal opinion, believe that illustration rares are probably the way to go. The special illustration rares are really nice to invest in, but they're so expensive. Like, look at the Greninja. Look at some of the recent Shrouded Fable cards that are special illustration rares, the textured cards. The full art trainers that are textured too, still going for big dog money, but I like to think about what I can buy now that would save me more in the future, so that, like, I don't have to worry about buying this card in the future. And looking at some of the prices of these illustration rares from across all the sets, honestly, they're pretty affordable. I mean, you're looking at, like, some of them are even $1 or $2. You know, and if you were to wanted to grade those in a PSA 10, if you were to get a 10, for example, the price is insane compared to the raw card. So we're going to take a look at some of my personal favorites that I have in my own collection, but I know there's tons others out there, so I encourage you to do your own research. And we're going to start off today's video with one of my personal favorite illustration rares that I've gotten recently over the last few months. It's going to be this Arbok. Now, this Arbok is super cool. Why? Well, just look at the artwork. A lot of these illustration rares, granted, they're not textured, so they don't have that textured look to them. You know, you just have the flat face, but the foil and the artwork typically is powerful enough, in my opinion, as a collector, to where it doesn't matter if it's not textured. I mean, you get it's basically a full art card with a silver border, and the artwork typically is insane, as far as, you know, someone who appreciates the artwork would say. But taking a look at this card goes for, and these are TCG player prices as of date of filming, so don't get mad if it's updated in the next day or week, or if somebody manipulates the market. I'm not trying to manipulate the market, I'm just trying to say, hey, there's illustration rares out there that are dirt cheap, some of them, and if you grade them, if you want to grade them, PSA 10s go for big dollars. So there's that. Arbok, $730 market price, TCG player value. This one is from Temporal Forces, and we're looking like a $60 PSA 10. Now, you might be thinking, okay, 7 to 60, that's not that great. I mean, it's okay, it's whatever, it's PSA 10. But when this card first came out in the set, it was like a $100 PSA 10. So it has gone down a little bit. It has gone down just a little bit, but in terms of long term, I really do like this artwork, and I think it will probably get back to that $100 PSA 10 price point at some point in time. And the raw card being sub $10 is another steal. I mean, you literally buy 2 packs and you aren't even guaranteed one of these. So it's like, I don't know. You can make your own judgments. I'm showing my personal favorites, and some ones that I'd like to call out that are just insane. Like the next one, Gloom. This one is a $4.55 card, market price, TCG player value. Take a look at it though. Look at the artwork. Like, do you guys not see what I'm talking about? Like, look at the complexity we have here. For a $4 card, this is basically the price of a booster pack after tax. I mean, pretty dang close. And as many packs as you might buy, you might not even ever pull one, especially from Obsidian Flames being one of the most cheapest and readily available Scarlet Violet era sets. But listen to this. If you get this guy in a PSA 10, we're looking at like $300. Like there's a couple on eBay. And the only one I saw buy it now was $300. And granted, that's not sold price, so like, you know, take it with a grain of salt, of course. But personally, dude, from a $4.55, we'll round it up. We'll give it the benefit of the doubt. We get like $5 card to $300. That is like, I don't even know how many X's that is exponentially. Like it's obviously more than 10X because that would put you at 50, 20, put you at 100. And then we're looking at like 60X probably, if I did my math right. A 60X increase of this card. So imagine you grade like 30 of these things. And even if the price of PSA grading is expensive, like you sell 1 or 2, if you get a 10, that pays for your membership fee for the year. And then pretty much the whole lot. And then not to mention the PSA 9s that you would want to sell or trade for, you know. But that's what I look for when I go to invest in single cards is, how's the market with the singles doing, and can I stock up so that if I were to ever grade him in the future, that a PSA 10 would basically pay for a ton of other cards that I would want in my collection. Like if I took $300 and put that towards completing a set, like a master set, I could probably get the base set master set complete and probably a good chunk of the illustration rares and full arts done, especially if you're looking at a Scarlet Violet, you know, like I don't know. I don't even know what's the cheapest, but Obsidian Flames is like $300 to complete, including the Charizards. So, you know, you could pretty much sell one of the cards to pay for the entire master set, which is insane. Next one up on my list is from base set. A little bit of a curveball and a little surprising to myself. So I was looking at Riolu. I'm like, yeah, this artwork's pretty cool. We're looking at like a $10 25 card. I'm like, okay, that's decent. Like most of these Paldean evolved illustration rares that are not Magikarp and Raichu go for about $10 a piece. I still have yet to get those to complete the set, but I'm like, yeah, let's check out the PSA 10 price. PSA 10 Riolu goes for $158. So you're looking at pretty much, I mean, depending on the illustration rare, the majority of them, from what I've seen, are going to be over $100 in PSA 10, unless it's some random one like a Yamper. Like, you got to go for the more desirable artworks and, you know, maybe the more desirable Pokemon. But personally, dude, if you can, you know, spend $100, get 10 of these, grade 10 of them. If they all 10 for whatever reason, you know, you could be walking away with $1,000 submission. Super cool artwork. Again, no texture to these guys, but this was my first ever illustration rare pull from Scarlet Violet. Like the whole era. Pulled it at pre-release, I think. I'm not mistaken. Or maybe the pre-release pack when we got back to the studio to record. Either way, man, the illustration rares just pop. We're going to get to the last one here in a second, but I also wanted to call out Veluza. I don't have the card on hand. I thought I did, but I don't, so I'm just going to speak to it. I'll throw a picture on screen. We got a $3.31 card. That artwork is insane. I know you've probably seen it. It's got a Starmie cameo and some other Pokemon in there too, but a PSA 10 in that card goes for around $65. So again, not a super desirable Pokemon, but a PSA 10 for $65 isn't that bad. I could see that easily going up once these sets are out of print. I mean, people are going to want to have to master PSA. Like, there's going to be some diehard collectors out there that are going to be like, I want every single illustration rare, not the texture, just the illustration rares, in a PSA 10 as a master set. I mean, people are doing that nowadays, like TCA Gaming with the early, like, first edition sets, you know, like one of every first edition Gym Heroes card in a PSA 10. And then lastly, we're going to finish it off with Yveltal from Paradox Rift. Pulled this in my birthday stream, and this copy itself is actually super well centered, so I might actually grade this when I get back into grading. But this one goes for $13.47. I think when it first came out, we were looking at like a $50, $30 maybe card. I don't remember. But it was a chase for a minute there in Paradox Rift. PSA 10 goes for about $100. So about a little less than a 10x, probably like 9x or something like that, pretty close to it. But yeah, it's still pretty cool that these modern illustration rares, granted, the reason why it's so hard to get them in PSA 10 is because their quality and print quality has been not the greatest, one would say. Just take a look at my Riolu here. I'm not going to grade him. He's too thick at the bottom. the bottom line here to the top ratio is a little thicker, and not personally one to grade cards that I know probably won't get a 10 or at least have a good shot. But this Yveltal and honestly even this Arbok back here, if I were to grade right now, I would probably consider these two as PSA 10 candidates, regardless of, you know, the actual overall quality, just looking at centering, because that seems to be the issue. Or if you have some like really rough cuts, you might have seen some cards that have some whitening on the cuts around the top or the bottom or the sides. So just be mindful of that if you're going to be grading some of these cards. But the main thing really that I think would be a deal breaker between a 9 and a 10 is going to be the centering. So if you can find good centered cards that are illustration rares, like in a local card shop, you know, scoop them up. I mean, you can't go wrong with a well-centered card at the end of the day, even if, you know, okay, if it's a common, whatever, but at least illustration rares, you can't go wrong with a well-centered card. So there you have it, folks. That's my little hot take, little investment type video. Haven't made one of these in a minute, but I do think that these are extremely undervalued still, especially when you look at the PSA 10 prices of some of them. Gloom, talking about you, like $300. That's crazy. That's literally, what, 100x if it was a $3 card. So just saying, be on the lookout, scoop them up while you can, because I do feel like that these, especially once we get into the next era, these are going to be the cards that people want to go back to and reminisce upon, especially since there's so many and you don't necessarily pull all of them in a set before the new one comes out. Like me, I still have tons to get from Paradox Rift, not even to mention Temporal Forces, Twilight Masquerade, now Shrouded Fable, and then we have Stellar Crown coming up. Like, I have so many illustration rares to catch up on, so you know, be on the lookout. Check out the prices, check out the market, do your due diligence, do your own research. Not financial advice, of course, just letting you know my thoughts and personal opinions. Let me know in the comments what you think about illustration rares. I know a lot of them are pretty cheap and affordable, but there are some big dog hitters, which obviously we left out of this video because, you know, not everybody can drop $300 on a Magic Harp or however much it is now. But yeah, that's gonna do it for today's video. Hopefully you did enjoy. Again, be sure to hit the subscribe if you're new, and check out the links down in the description below and get yourself some discounts and some deals on stuff. But yeah, that'll be it for today's video. Hopefully you guys have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.